I wanted to come on here today just to talk about vesting positivity into the world, vesting positivity into ourselves. I think that as we continue to move forward into the present moment, we realize that every action we take is actually defining ourselves. Every choice we make, all the positivity, all the love we give ourselves, all the validation we give ourselves as we continue to grow into the beautiful people that we are. Because regardless of anything, it's you. And I think in a lot of ways we need to learn how to be subjects to our own experience and to realize that we are the ones who are experiencing it. And for whatever that may be, I think that we need to be able to find more love in that and appreciation and gratitude to the fact that if you might not know anything, if you might not know what today's got in store, I think that we can learn to find that with a little bit more love and just a little bit of calmness in a way. I think that love is your willingness to be present with yourself. And in every moment, I think it's to be there for yourself through all of the trials and all the tribulations, and to be honest in times of necessary change. I think change is scary because it is in the unknown, and it can be uncomfortable. And I think that we need to be able to find the parts of ourselves that are seeking out change, and to actually love ourselves through the change, and knowing that, hey, I'm not perfect now, I'm never gonna be perfect. But what's stopping me from giving myself that love and giving myself that validation that, hey, at least I'm trying and I can try to find good, and that I know that I want to change sometimes, but I think that change is coming from a place of love in myself. And I think that as we become who we are, we realize that regardless of anything that happens, it's you. Everything that happens to us is actually just making us who we are. I saw a really great quote years back, and I still think about it. If we went and changed all the mistakes we ever made, we'd erase ourselves. And so through everything, I don't think that there is a past self to overcome, nor is there a future self to achieve. And I think it's just about who we are now, and relative to the choices we make now and the love we can give ourselves now. I was thinking about that the other day, just as I felt kind of upset that like I hadn't been a good person per se or whatever. But then I realized, like, hey, I think that we need to relax and realize that no, you can't change the past. And dwelling on it and thinking negatively about yourself isn't going to change the fact that whatever's happened has happened. And in that sense, I think that we lose our we lose our day in expectation of night, which is another great quote I saw. Now I think we need to be present and know that, hey, it's our first time living here. And knowing that whatever you're actually looking for is inside of us, and that we can't wait for conditions to line up. We can't wait for everything to be perfect to start being the people who we are, the people who we are meant to be. I think that we need to come as we are and realize that if we start to see things for what they are, it stops becoming so much the thing and starts becoming who we are. And in that way, you can kind of find out a little bit more about yourself. You can find out a little bit more about your interests, your hobbies, who you are at the core of you. And to just grow from there. I think that we can get so upset about who we were that we realize that who we are now and what we're creating ourselves in is entirely up to us if we just decide to put that energy into ourselves, If we just decide to see the world with a lot more positivity, if we decide to catch our negative thoughts and, hit it with some positivity, and to see things just for what they are instead of thinking this is how we feel about things and just feeling how we feel about things, or even that, just seeing them for what they are and just removing you from the subject and just loving it for what it is and watching it unfold. Another beautiful quote is, "The act of being is to watch the world unfold in front of you with a positive outlook and an optimistic point of view. I do these videos because it helps me talk, it helps me articulate, but because it's a way of bringing some clarity to myself, because there's some days where I'm like, I don't know, like, am I doing good? But then I remind myself that I have the opportunity to be better if I just choose to be present in this very moment, and if I choose to not only embody my presence with myself, but to actually just love everything going on around me, right? And just know, like, hey, I love the newness of every moment, and I love the newness that every day has to offer. And I know that, hey, not every day is gonna be the same, and I don't know what today has in store for me necessarily, but I can learn to love and appreciate that, and to make the best out of it, and to look at it with a sense of love. You know, I think the beautiful part about an individual experience is that it's the individual who experiences it. And in that sense, I think that we need to choose ourselves and being positive. And I think that's all we can do. If the light comes from you, you cast no shadows. We have to love ourselves through the change. Life is about growing at our own experience. It's about cultivating the moments and being there for yourself. Everything is everything. And how you treat yourself is how you treat the world. How you treat the world is how you feel about yourself. So appreciate everything. You can't heal without acknowledging your mistakes and your trauma. So in that, acknowledge what you've been through, but continue to move forward in your own light. And in that way, I don't think that we can necessarily lose ourselves, because we realize that the present moment is always here. So what you do now is what's important. And that's all I've got to say for today. So have a great night.